expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, Phoenix, Brother Mike, back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. God bless you today. Today's Bible study, Brophy Prep. Yeah, we got in the news. Hey, would you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on while I make a couple of announcements? I'll go as quick as I can. Say, this is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor. 37 years, by the way. 37 years I've been a counselor. I can't believe it. I'm getting old. I am at the Arizona Deliverance Center in Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. The website has all of our ministry services. As you know, we have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday night at 7 p.m. You've got to get to the 7 p.m. service on Friday night. That's our main service of the week. I'm usually the teacher on the Friday night services. Both services are on our YouTube streaming channel, live, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can also sign up for a free seminar when you go to the website, or check out the radio archives for past shows. You can send us another donation on PayPal. You can contact Sister Karen. My wife is a licensed realtor, and she loves working with born-again Christians. She would love to list your home for you. I've been on the radio now for 16 years. I start my 17th year in February. I've been a professional counselor for 37 years. I've been around the block a few times, and you need to come in for prayer Friday night. You've been procrastinating, and you've been holding off on it. You've wanted to come in, but things have come up and kept stopping you. I had somebody come in my office one time and say, I've been trying to get here for 3 years and couldn't make it. You need to make it. Brophy Prep. What in the world is Brophy Prep? Well, I'll tell you what, it's one of the top academic Catholic high schools for boys in the entire United States. In the entire United States. It's one of the most respected and revered academic institution for high school boys anywhere in the United States. 99% of the students down on Central Avenue in downtown Phoenix, 99% of them go to college. 99%. I'll tell you what, that is a fantastic school for putting out professionals. They do a fantastic job, but unfortunately, they have not been eliminated from this gasping, shocking, catastrophic, satanic, sexual child abuse, perversion syndrome that has been in the Roman Catholic Church for centuries. And nothing has been done to stop it. This thing's gotten so bad here in America, believe it or not, ambulance chasing lawyers, they used to call them ambulance chasers, they now run ads all over the country, all over the internet, looking for people who were sexually abused by priests. They now take the cases, listen to this, on a contingency, like an automobile liability accident. If you don't recover, they don't get paid. That's how vast a problem Roman Catholicism has caused. The lawyers are taking the cases on contingency basis. Unbelievable. Well, here at Brophy, I want to read you this article because somebody may have been abused there and may need help. And here's what it says, quote, Jesuit West, a religious order of the Catholic Church that oversees Jesuit high schools and universities, has released a list of priests and clergy who the organization has concluded have credible claims against them of sexual assault of a minor or vulnerable adults. The disclosure list includes 8 clergy members who worked at Brophy College Preparatory in Phoenix, dating back to the 1950s. And they published a full list with this article. It says, quote, the clergy member on the Jesuit West list who would have most recently worked at Brophy is Thomas E. O'Rourke. He was at Brophy from 1975 to 1993, according to their records. Another clergy member named in the report, Father Philip Sunseri, he worked at Brophy from 1978 to 1982. O'Rourke was recently named in an October complaint against the Catholic Church for allegedly abusing a child in Los Angeles in 1968, according to a report by the San Jose Mercury News. O'Rourke, unfortunately, died in 1993, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Quote, there is no one who has a credible claim who is working actively in ministry in the Jesuits. And I might add something to that statement made by Tracy Primrose, the Director of Communications for Jesuits West Province. I might add something to that they know about at this time, let's put it that way, or that they're willing to reveal, let's put it that way, or that they transferred out of Brophy Prep when they found out about it and do not want to disclose it. Now, why did I say those three things? Because the devil, Satan himself, is behind this child abuse scandal. And from the Pope on down, blood is on everybody's hands. They knew what was going on. They wouldn't do anything about it. They kept handling it internally. They kept transferring priests from one parish to another. They refused to fix it. The Pope right now is trying to shove it under the rugs. The problem is, and it's only a problem depending on how you look at it, that this situation has gotten so bad that, and there's so many victims over the last 50 years here in America. That's not including the scandals that have broken out. Ireland right now is in a huge sex abuse scandal going on, but all throughout Europe, this whole thing's been hitting like a ton of bricks. And this entire time, they have continued to bury it, to hide it, to fix it themselves, and they have failed. The Roman Catholic Church in the Vatican does not want this thing to be investigated secularly. But it's gotten so bad now that some states, like Pennsylvania, are pursuing the church and the priests with felonies. And personal injury lawyers, as I already mentioned, are taking these cases on contingency. So that if someone has a credible sexual abuse claim, they don't have to pay the lawyers a dime until the case is settled. And of course, the lawyers usually take about a third of that. If it settles, they usually take about 50% of it if it goes to trial, generally speaking. Some firms are different. This thing's gotten so bad, the secular world is getting into it. And that is the best thing that could have ever happened. If you were abused by a priest, or anybody else for that matter, at your Catholic church, at your parish, or at your school, call the cops, call the police, and we can stop this thing. It will stop. If the Roman Catholic Church starts to see that the priests are getting caught before they transfer them out, or before they die, or before the statutes run on the cases, and the cops and the detectives who are not Catholics start investigating these cases, this will stop it. The reason they get away with it is because the children don't say anything. The priests are transferred out of the parishes from one parish to another. They receive a slap on the wrist internally, and it just continues to mushroom. It never stops. Why? The cops aren't involved. Call the cops. The article goes on to say, quote, there's no one who has a credible claim currently working at Brophy Prep. Yeah, right. Victims advocates have welcomed any organization that publicized names of priests and clergy accused of abuse. Quote, any disclosure is good, and we totally welcome that, said Tim Lennon, board president of Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, also known as SNAP, Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests. SNAP, all you got to do is Google it, and you can contact them. It will cost you nothing. It's free of charge. If you were abused or you know a family member was abused, you can contact SNAP and they will help you, and they will help you for free. Contact them. You can Google them. It'll come right up. Quote, the other purpose is those who have been abused may look at the list and say, why isn't the person who abused me on the list? Well, no kidding. They shuffled that one off to Buffalo, so to speak, and they're in hiding, or they've retired, or they moved them to the Vatican, or what have you. What's the key to this? The devil is able to promulgate this on all these children. And remember, all these children who were abused, every single one of them, picked up demons. The spirit of rejection entered these young boys. Most of them are boys. And as I mentioned on my other radio program, it's all caused by celibacy of priests. That's the number one problem that causes child abuse to young boys. It's all based on their demonic celibacy doctrine. That's what's causing it. There's pedophile priest homosexual subcultures in their seminaries all across the United States. It's caused by celibacy. That doctrine is unbiblical and anti-scriptural. There's no support whatsoever for celibacy. They just made it up. But in so doing, they have destroyed the lives of so many people. If you were sexually abused, you're eligible for free counseling services and you're Catholic. 602-636-5800. Nobody has to know. You can come in with confidence that it's confidential. If you were abused at Brophy Prep and you need help, you need prayer, and you need deliverance, 602-636-5800. You are eligible for free counseling services at the Arizona Deliverance Center. God loves you and He cares for you, even though the priest did not.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.